challenges that I face to stick to what I believe in, creating use out of the useless. They thought I could not do it, they thought I could not make it, and today I am in the Forbes 30 under 30 list of social entrepreneurs of Asia. I'm Dr. Binish Desai of Rotary Club of Vibrant Valsad. I am a social entrepreneur and an innovator. I convert waste into eco-innovations, houses, toilets, and 150 other products. A social entrepreneur is someone who talks about creating a social change through its products, through its disruptive technologies. To provide them the employment, my factories were quite far from here, and I thought, let's do something unique. Let's bring the factory here. It's not just about creating a particular product, but actually breaking the barriers that the society has created.
We started with very small ideations of doing something for the women, something for the society, and that led to a journey which is starting, and now let's see where it takes us.
Club meeting of San Dimas for April 14th, 2021. It's my pleasure to introduce our president, Diva Alfaro.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Diva Alfaro. I have the pleasure of being the San Dimas Rotary president, and I would love to go ahead and pass it on to Steve Scott to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Please join me in honoring the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Steve. And I'd like to ask Casey to lead us in the invocation.
Right. Let's invocate and pray. Almighty God, we pray that you would awaken each one of us to our full potential. Lord, we have gathered to be leaders that can exchange ideas, that can take action to change the world, and that action begins inside of us. So inspire us, awaken us, and call us forth to become the best version of ourselves that we can serve, give, and love others as they come on our path. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Casey. So I want to go ahead and start off with introducing ourselves. I'll start off with myself. Again, my name is Diva Alfaro. I have been a Rotarian for over 3 years now, and I am a mortgage lender that I cover the whole, pretty much the whole nation. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to Derek.
My name is Derek Bafanu. I'm involved in several community groups, and I'm a teacher in Baldwin Park.
Thank you, Derek. I'll go ahead and pass it on to Casey.
All right. I'm a health coach, and I lead to freedom. So dealing with life transformation, leadership development, and empowering people to find healthy habits to change their lives. That's what I do every day. I'm a past president and a Rotarian catalyst. So I love to get into our community and activate leaders to do things they didn't think were possible.
Thank you, Casey. Marianne? Okay, I'll pass it on to Raymond.
Hi, Raymond Foster, President-elect of the San Dimas Rotary Club, currently the Public Image Chair.
Thank you, Raymond. Steve?
Hello, my name is Steve Scott. I am the current treasurer of the Rotary Club, past president, and I am a State Farm agent in San Dimas.
Thank you, Steve. I'll go ahead and pass it on to some of our guests here. I'll start off with the one that says Max.
Hi, my name is Lauren Ferrari. I live in San Dimas, and I'm a police officer for the city of Azusa.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for joining us today. Carissa?
Yeah, I am Carissa Ferrari. I work for Bolton and Company in Pasadena, and it's an insurance brokerage firm. Specifically, I'm the wellness director, helping a lot of our corporate clients with their wellness programs. I also live in San Dimas.
Thank you very much for joining us, Carissa. And is that, am I going to pronounce it right? Dinamino? Okay, we'll go ahead and introduce our speaker. Did I miss anybody else? I think I didn't. So I'll go ahead and introduce our speaker for today. We've had the pleasure of having her here before, but Sister Terry Dodge is a steadfast advocate for women in prison and formerly incarcerated women. Her passion stems from the direct involvement with her brother while he was incarcerated for a drug-related crime, where she learned firsthand the difficulties and prejudice men and women face as they try to re-enter society after prison. Since 1989, Terry has been an executive director for Crossroads Incorporated, a unique 6-month residential program that services for women released from California state prisons. Crossroads provides a supportive, safe space for readjusting to life after prison at no cost, addressing interpersonal and life skills, substance abuse issues, and employment. Crossroads residential program provides a healing environment to support successful reentry and prevent reconviction. Sorry. Sister Terry engages and educates in the community, contributing both to the success of women at Crossroads and to raise consciousness about criminal justice issues, the failures and cost of the current system, and the benefits and embracing and employing of formerly incarcerated. Sister Terry's innovative approach rests on relationship building, reflecting and understanding that humans thrive in community and need each other to survive. And that landing in prison often reflects the failure of relationships and community. Her philosophy is that Crossroads loves a woman until she can love herself. Thank you so much for joining us, Sister Terry Dodge.
Is it my turn now?
Yes, sorry.
Well, no, it's not morning, it's good afternoon now. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be back with you and recognize a few faces from last time when I was here. Crossroads was founded in 1974, and it has been in Claremont since 1975. I only came to Crossroads in 1989, so 15 years after it had started. And I'm in my 32nd, almost 33rd year now as the executive director. But I think what is important for me to share is why you should care about Crossroads, why you should care about people being released from prison or from jail, you know, from any type of correctional facility. In California, the cost of incarceration is around $86,000 per person. And the vast majority of that money is spent for security and health care. Less than 3% is used for rehabilitation and education. And so what's so vitally important is most people who go to prison are going to be returning back into the community. And we want them to reintegrate back into the community and be successful, be contributing members of the communities in which we live. And that's what Crossroads does. I mean, I'm impressed, or impressed isn't the right word, but I'm thrilled with the intro or the beginning opening Rotarian, what he is doing in India. I mean, that's, you know, recognizing potential that is all around him and doing something for his community, for his world, and being an example is exactly what we do at Crossroads. We recognize the potential that is within each woman. Now, what makes Crossroads so different is how we go about it. I am a firm believer that, you know, we are more than our worst action. There's much more to us. And we can make some really serious bad decisions, for lack of a better way of putting it. But that doesn't sum up the whole of who we are. What we do at Crossroads is we give women the opportunity to make change in their life. But what we won't do is do it for them. But we make sure they know how to go about making change. And in doing that, over the last 30 years or so, I'm very pleased with how parole has seen the difference that we make. Not too long ago, a parole officer commented that it was easy to spot a woman from Crossroads because she held herself differently, she dressed differently, she was working and or going to school, she had transportation, she was on time. That's what we want for people, to be involved in their life and in the community. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. And what is printed on a lot of things is something that I said many, many years ago, being interviewed in a situation, is simply that we love the women until they're able to love themselves. We are adamant that everybody deserves another chance. And for some, it's a second chance. For some, it may be their 50th chance. But you just never know when that time is going to come where it's going to click for someone to really make change in their life and choose different behaviors and actions type of thing. And that's what we do at Crossroads. One of the things that I like to do, and I think is very helpful because people have so many different questions, is to open it up very early to questions and answers, because people are often thinking about a lot of different things that I don't necessarily get to when I speak. But one question that always comes up, so I'll share it with you right away, is how successful are you? And we have about 30 women come through our program in a year. It's a 6-month residential program. And less than 10% return to prison. Now, the state statistic for recidivism is 62 to 67% return to prison within a 3-year period. And for many, it's within that first year that they return to prison. We have less than 10% returning to prison. Who do we allow to come to our program? It's anyone who asks for another chance. And that means there is no felony conviction that's going to exclude a person from being eligible to come to our program. If you want a chance, we're here to give it to you, to provide you with that opportunity, but we're not going to do it for you. So there's a lot of personal responsibility that we put on the person from the very beginning. It's up to her to start making choices differently. And it works. We provide an environment where it's safe to make change, to try things differently. You come to any one of our houses, and this is something that I learned very early on when parole would come for their initial visits. We were really surprised. We only had the one house at the time, and that's, if you're familiar with Claremont, we're right across the street from Wolf's Market. Floyd's Auto Service used to be on the corner. It's a dentist's office now, but we're right next door, just south of Foothill. And what was said is it doesn't look like the other transitional homes or halfway houses or whatever people were calling our type of facility. I do not have bunk beds. I do not have more than 2 people in a bedroom. If we want people to behave differently, we need to treat them differently. And that's what we do at Crossroads. We recognize the dignity and the potential in each person. That doesn't mean it's a piece of cake by any means. And I put many people out of the program. But what is important is they are doing the asking. Since about 2008, we have worked almost exclusively with women who have served life sentences and been released on parole. And that was a situation where in those early years, no one was being released. If you received a sentence of 15 to life, that's called an indeterminate sentence. You did not have, if you do 3 years or have a 3-year sentence, you can calculate when you're going to be released. But an indeterminate sentence, you never know. You have to go before the Board of Prison Hearings and be found suitable. What was difficult about this, what I learned early on, is that if you do not have a place to go to that is approved by the Board of Prison Hearings, you will never be released from prison. You can have the best behavior inside prison from the day you got there, but you would not be released if you did not have a place to go to. And it took me a couple years before that really sunk in, before I understood the process. When I first came to Crossroads, there were 3 women who were serving indeterminate sentences and had been accepted to Crossroads. Once I understood what was going on, and the governor, California is one of 3 states where the governor still has the authority to overturn what the Board of Prison Hearings decides. So people may be found suitable by the board, but the governor would reverse that. So people were not being released. And what I did is I started to accept everyone who asked for a chance, asked to have a place, so that people could be released and would have that opportunity to reintegrate back into the community. That significantly got better and better over the years. Arnold Schwarzenegger increased, there were more people released under his governorship, and then Brown, it increased even more. So many more men and women who have served life sentences have been released at this point. And the recidivism rate for someone who has done a life sentence is much lower than the general population. It's less than probably about 15%. If anyone has a question, kind of wave your hand, and you can, asking questions is fine at any point. I can't say that what we do is any different. You know, we have drug and alcohol education classes, we have life skills practicing, everything from learning how to take care of a home to learning how to cook. I'll never forget one Christmas, I picked up a woman on Christmas Day, and she had never cooked before. Growing up, it was always fast food that the family provided. And everyone takes her turn at cooking at Crossroads. And when it came to her turn, her time to start cooking, she was in an absolute panic because she had never done anything like that before. But by the time she left Crossroads, her favorite meal to cook was a full turkey dinner with all the fixings to go along with it. Some people have never worked before. We have a couple MOUs with different employers. We don't place women in employment, but we make sure they know how to go about seeking employment. Completing or filling out a resume, even filling out an application can be a challenge for some people. What we do with the women is part of the seminars or groups or classes that we have is how to be a good employee. For many, many years, I've been hearing, that it's impossible to get a job having a felony conviction. And I just don't believe that, because well over 90% of the women who come to me leave employed. And what we do, what we have always done at Crossroads is it is at no cost for the woman to stay at Crossroads. Therefore, when she is earning money, she can put that into savings. So it is policy to put 75% of a paycheck into savings for when she moves out, because we're not doing our job if she leaves in the same state as when she came. She comes with nothing, and if she leaves with nothing, we're the ones that went wrong. That policy that we've had for almost 50 years now is now part of the requirements of every state contract in California working with men and women who have been incarcerated. Every program who is funded by the department or ultimately from the Department of Corrections must make sure that the men and women are putting 75% of their earnings into savings for when they move beyond the program. Another aspect that is now part of all the state contracts, which we have been doing for years also, is volunteering in the community. As you well know, by being involved in the community, reaching out to those who are challenged or need just some type of assistance, it does something to us personally. And so that has always been a part of our program also. And the women have often commented, whether they're serving a meal on a Sunday at a church in Pomona, or wrapping gifts with Salvation Army around Christmas time, how they feel coming away from that. And you can just see the difference within them being able to give back in some way to somebody else, reaching out to somebody in need. That is also part of any state contract for providers working with the formerly incarcerated. And again, that came from our practice over the years. Who comes to Crossroads? My oldest client was 88 years old. It's not unusual for those who have served life sentences. They're usually typically their late 50s and 60s being released after 20, 30, 38 years has been the longest for somebody to come to Crossroads. We also have general population, which is the short-termers or people who have a determinate sentence where they may be doing anywhere from 13 months to 4 or 5, 12 years type of thing. Although 12 years would be considered a long-termer. Any questions yet? You bored? No? Okay. How much time do I have left? I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention to the time when I started. So you'll have to tell me to stop. One of the things that we have, or how we are developing is Crossroads is unique in the sense that it is very small. Statistically, it has been shown that smaller programs are more successful, can be more successful. Nobody falls through the cracks. When you only have 12 people, I have 2 homes in Claremont, 6 people in a house. Like I said, I won't put more than 2 people in a bedroom. So nobody's going to fall through the cracks. You can't hide. If we remember when we were in school and how easy it was to get lost in a group or a class of 35 people or 30 other students, that is not possible when there's only 12 people. So we're able to see each person differently and independently. And when I've been asked so many times, aren't you going to expand? Aren't you, don't you want another house? And the quality of our program would not be the same for each woman coming through if we added 15 or 18 people in the program. To me, what made the better sense is to have a transitional housing program, the next step after the residential program. And last July, we purchased a Craftsman house in Pomona just for that purpose. On that property, there's a Craftsman house and a duplex. So we will be able to accommodate 8 women in transition. They will be working, or they will be ready to work. And again, it will be up to 6 months at no cost to them, putting 75% of what they earn into savings, but reacclimating in the working world and taking care of themselves, and then looking for independence, living on their own or living with somebody else type of thing. So that's our next move. We just purchased that last July, and we're still in process of getting it fixed up and ready for people to move into. And it's something that we will be able to add to our current contract for next step for the women who are funded when they come to us type of thing. So, questions?
Yeah, I have a question. What can we do to help you? What are your needs currently?
That was my question. How can we help?
I said it first, Mike.
Well, I'm just an echo of the face of Rotary up there.
Sister, they got it from me. I was thinking it.
You know, I love it when people are so willing to reach out and help, and that is wonderful. And that's what's important about Crossroads. I firmly believe in community. You know, I belong to a religious congregation of women, and our founder was a French philosopher, but one of his quotes that is a backdrop of my work, of my life, is a world healed, unified, and transformed. That doesn't happen on its own. We do it together. So I appreciate the ask of what can you do? Well, let me tell you, you can have your choice of what you can do. You know, with the new house, we are still fixing things up. The bathrooms in the duplex are being remodeled at this point. At one point, we want to repaint the whole house. So we will be looking for volunteers to help us in that process. The backyard needs to be re-landscaped. I mean, it's been, well, let's put it nicely. When it rains, you know, the mower does not do its job. It's mostly weeds, but we would like to re-landscape it. It's a large piece of property, so there's a lot of potential with it. We've actually been renting it for 13 years, and the landlord really didn't do much with it. But that's history at this point. Now we get to do what we would like to do with it. And again, it's a Craftsman house with a duplex, so it's a beautiful house. So if you want to roll up your sleeves and help in that way, you'd be more than welcome to help with that. Financially, there's always challenges with a nonprofit. I'm sure you're well aware. Finances are always a challenge. I am absolutely thrilled. We have a speaker series that is actually, the date is September 25th at this point. And we were able to get Barbara Ferrer to be our speaker this year. This is a series that has been going on for about 5 years now. Martin Sheen was our last speaker in 2019. And the purpose of it is, number one, it's stories. And when I wrote to Barbara Ferrer, I said, I don't want to hear about COVID. I want to hear your story. And that request from me came from an article that Steve Lopez wrote in the LA Times last April. And I was so impressed with it. I wanted to meet her, and I thought she would be a great person for our speaker series. So long story short, she said yes, and that's going to be in September 25th of this year, and it will be a virtual event this year. So I will send you information about that. Tickets are $35. I want to keep it affordable. But as I started to say, to me, stories are so very, very important. And the speakers I look for are people who can be inspirational to the women with whom we work. And I think Barbara is going to be a wonderful person for that, if you know anything about her. And she's a very private person, that's for sure. We just finished a virtual walk. I had mentioned when I was with you a month ago, I walked from California Institution for Women to our house on Harvard, 15.8 miles on March 14th. So that was, I'm still walking. What more can I say? But I invite you to be involved if you want to come and visit, if you want to be more involved. Our website, visit our website, sign up for our newsletter or our email blast type of thing. And if you want to be more, do individual volunteering type thing, if you have something that you'd like to do, or you've got an idea, just give me a call, you know.
Sister,
we have all the answers. It takes all of us to figure this out.
Sister, how about I'll send you an email and we pick a Saturday in a couple of weeks and we do a site visit to the house in Pomona, and I'll let everybody know when that is, and then we can come down there and figure out what kind of service project we'd like to perform at the house in Pomona. How does that sound to everybody?
Well, that would be absolutely wonderful.
Okay, so I will be sending you an email after the meeting, and we'll arrange a Saturday afternoon for as many people as want to meet up at your house in Pomona, and we'll figure out if we want to paint the place, do the backyard, or what we want to do, because we've been looking for a hands-on service project for a while, and this sounds fabulous.
Timing is everything. Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. And one quick question: will you accept, knowing that some of these women are going back to the workplace, any gently used business wear or?
Absolutely, absolutely. We take all types of donations. When a woman completes the program, even, and she moves into her own place, you know, whether it's an apartment or with another person or whatever, we help her get started with that also. So the donations that come into us, whether it is household stuff, well, the clothing we don't use, that's always for the women. But if we can't use it at the house, then it's set aside for the women. So it's really an easier transition for them, and they're not dipping into those savings that they have at the end of their time. So donations are always welcome, always welcome.
Perfect. Does anybody have any other questions, or should, if not, well, thank you very much, sister, again for joining us, and I look forward to taking a visit and seeing what we can do for you.
I look forward to welcoming you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and pass it on to Casey with the Fine Master.
Sister Terry, thank you for presenting what is fine in the world that you have created. And as we approach our fines, that's what we like to do. We like to talk about what's fine, what's not fine, and who's fine or who's not fine. And this is our soapbox. So if you'd like to talk, we're going to fine you. Well, actually, we're not. You're going to fine yourself. So all of our members agree to be fined themselves and to say, hey, look, here's $5. This is what I want to talk about. So talk about something that's fine, not fine, or somebody else that's fine.
Sounds good.
Who wants to go?
Well, I'm going to start out with $10. Actually, I'm going to start out with $15. I'm going to spread this around, because I'd like to hear first with the first $5 of my fine. I'd like to hear from Demano. Did you get your audio fixed there from, I think you're calling us from Nigeria, you're joining us, as I recall?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Good evening. From Nigeria, here it's evening. It's past 8 p.m.
And where are you joining us from, sir?
I'm joining you from Lagos, Nigeria.
Yeah, very cool. Well, you've been in our club before, and you're a Rotarian also, as I recall.
Yeah, I've actually been following your club on Zoom meeting.
Okay.
I've not been physically present there before.
Very cool. Thank you for joining us. And then my other $5 to our two, by the way, we had a vote, the two newest Rotarians. Max and Carissa, who introduced themselves at the beginning. So spend my $5, say hello again. Oh, you gotta unmute yourself though. It's not Max though, I know, it's just confusing the heck out of me.
I know, I'll have to change it next time. I'll let Carissa go first. She's more exciting than me.
No, I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for having us. I grew up in Glendora, so not far from here. Moved to San Dimas about 5 years ago, and love the city. Lauren's been here longer than I have, but we just decided we want to get involved in the community and thought this would be a great start. So thanks for having us.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And Derek will tell you we have a really great induction ceremony that we will do in a month or so. Isn't that right, Derek?
It was life-changing.
Hey, we're always improving. That's another $5. Raymond, if you want to talk about the induction ceremony, $5 more.
That's my $15. I'm going to shut up.
I'll find myself $5 to do the same thing Raymond did. Chris, I want to know about what you do with wellness.
Yeah, so Bolton and Company, we're an insurance brokerage firm. So we help a lot of clients with the property and casualty side of insurance, and then also employee benefits. So I'm more in the employee benefits world. And we have all sorts of clients. We have construction groups, we have nonprofits, we have schools. And my role is to help them get their employees healthy and happy. It's looked a little bit different through the pandemic, obviously. A big focus on stress management, mental health, financial health. So it's really gone beyond physical and nutrition lately, especially. But it looks different for all of our groups. Everything's virtual right now. But my role is just to implement corporate wellness programs and keep employees happy, healthy, taking care of themselves. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go, Casey. Speaking of stress management, last week we had our board meeting, which thankfully was not recorded and broadcast. And I had some stressful work situations pop up, and unbeknownst to me, I was not muted and said a few things that I shouldn't have said out loud. Raymond was quick to let me know I wasn't muted, and if I needed to go handle some of my work, my work stresses, I could leave the meeting early. So I am going to find myself $10 for that and apologize again. But thank you all for being very understanding and knowing that things sometimes don't go the way you want them to.
That's true.
Especially not in your business.
Anybody else want to find themselves today? Tell us what's fine, what's not fine, what you'd like to see different. Going once, going twice. Well, all is fine in the world. And Carissa, your sister's name, and I don't want to call you Max again, but it's Lauren, right?
Lauren, yeah.
All right, we got it right, Lauren. Welcome. So glad you guys are both here. And you were an Azusa PD?
Yes.
Okay, just logging the information. Glad you're here. Glad we're all fine. Glad we're going forward. Back
Thanks
to you,
for letting
Diva.
us join.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, ladies, for sharing as well. Okay, so next we're going to move on to Action 360. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to Raymond.
So for the new members, Action 360 is developed into what we're doing, what action we are taking in the 360-degree world around us. The first thing I'm sharing is, as president, you go to president-elect training, which is, well, it's an experience. At any rate, and I agreed that I would go through all the documents very carefully, then share them one at a time with the club in a brief manner. This is the one on the voice and visual identity guidelines put out by Rotary International. It is a 50-page document on how to use the Rotary symbol correctly. However, at the very beginning, something piqued my interest, which caused me to develop that Rotary fact sheet that I sent out to you. And what it says here is, if we speak, write, and design in one voice, Our communications will sound, read, and look all unmistakably like Rotary. This will give our audiences a better understanding of who we are. And so I thought with that Rotary fact sheet in your hands now, as you tailor your own individual elevator speeches about what Rotary is, who we are, and what we do in the community, we could continue to add to that and speak as one voice and improve our branding. That's your Action 360 coming out of PETS.
Thank you, Raymond. Next is the House of Ruth project. So I had a brief meeting yesterday, and so far what we have going on is we still plan to do the drop off on the 1st from 10 a.m. to 2. I have had a couple of phone calls, actually a couple from the Masonic Lodge, so thank you, Raymond, for that, and Derek. I had great conversations with lovely ladies, so, you know, wives of the members and all that. So, you know, they're very giving, so I'm very blessed to have them to want to participate. But Marianne's going to be collecting money on that day, so I need volunteers to come and help out. The goal is to get as many items as possible off that list. And just so you ladies know, what we're trying to do is we're collecting items for Mother's Day for House of Ruth, which is a domestic violence shelter. And we can go ahead and send you the list so you have it as well. And we're going to be dropping it off on the 2nd to a location that we've already discussed, and I'll give that to the members as well. But please, if you know anybody that's interested, anybody that wants to do monetary donations, the information's on there. You know, I'm very excited that we actually had a couple of people donate money. So we'll be able to get quite a bit of items off that list.
And Diva, to update everyone, we have all 5 microwaves now purchased.
Yes.
Was purchased 3, and 2 were purchased by a lodge member. In addition to the $250 from one Masonic Lodge, Diva got a $200 donation from another person. So at this point, her buying to fill out the wish list is over $500, and she's going to coordinate with either Mike or Steve in getting that done. And I think we've got we're going to be able to fill out their wish list for their transitional housing. So we're pretty excited.
Yes, and I'm very excited for this. So next, does anybody have any questions? No? Okay.
If we do, Diva, if we do need transport on the 2nd for those donated items, let me know. Okay. I'm happy to help with that.
Okay, perfect. And then Steve, I sent you an email, I think yesterday. Not sure if you received it, but just so we can probably with what we have, start thinking of what we're going to buy and get that ready for the 1st. Okay, so next is teacher mini grants.
Before I go on with that, hey Mike, why don't you pencil in the 2nd? And I'm thinking mid-morning, and we'll be going to Pomona with what we've collected. We won't be going to the house. We're going to one of their outreach offices because they keep the domestic violence shelter itself confidential, and we all understand that. So
I have it on my calendar for 10 a.m. Tentative, so we can move that around. Just let me know if you do set a time.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
So we received some feedback from Holy Name of Mary, and they said, thank you so much. The grant meant a world to their students. They loved getting off their devices to create hands-on projects with the Mikado kits. And this is the grant we provided to them for $500. They had many positive comments from students and parents. They felt very blessed, and then they sent us pictures. Pictures are always good. They were making robots with the different pieces and the tools that they received out of cardboard boxes. And these are kindergarten through 2nd grade. So fortunately, these aren't high school students. When I first saw them, whoa, I hope these aren't the high school kids, but they're not. And then this is another box. And we're coming up to my favorite box, by the way, that they made this. And then this one is not my favorite, but I thought that was you see the tools down there at the bottom that came with the kit. And obviously the young person may have anger management issues, but very nice looking. Here is my favorite project. It is Mr. Cookie robot. And this robot for the kindergartner is designed to deliver cookies. And I thought, that's a fabulous robot. If I could get that in the nap robot, I would be set for life. So this is feedback on the teacher mini grant project. We put $3,000 again into the Benita Unified School District and had some fabulous results. And I'm sure we'll see some more stuff in the future. Thank you, Diva. You gotta unmute yourself, Diva.
That's a great little, it looks like a robot. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so next, let's move on to the calendar.
Yes, I had not pulled it up yet. Hang on a minute, give me a second.
You know, that cookie box thing would be perfect for Girl Scouts to have one as they're trying to sell their cookies.
Okay, so coming up on the 21st, we got the Foothill Gold Line project coming in. The 28th is Erica Lewis from the Department of State on African Affairs. On May 5th, House of Ruth will be back to talk about teen violence and also to tell us about the award presentation that the things we're awarding to them. And we've got Reggie Clark from the VOA coming in to talk to us about homelessness. We've also got the Salvation Army coming back for a fast craft talk to update us on the cold weather clothing thing we did for them, as well as Maggie Bowman from David and Margaret would like to come back and tell us a little bit what's going on there. We don't have anything yet in May, and by the way, we're still thinking about the June 30th, the kick-out party, the in-person thing we're going to do to kick out our president. And June 9th is Club Assembly. That's our 61st anniversary. We have already a Senate resolution that's coming about our club and a city proclamation. Both will be delivered by those people. We'll read the names of the founding members, and we're trying to put together a few other special things for the 61st anniversary. So speaker ideas. I need your ideas for speakers. We got open dates, and we got a new year coming right down here, Rotary New Year. So we need to fill that out.
Thank you, Raymond. Okay, so next we'll have Mike with the four-way test.
All right, so the four-way test is a test that was developed in 1932 by a Rotarian of everything that we think, say, and do, particularly if we're going to say something, be on mute if it may not be appropriate. But everything we think, say, and do, so think of this as a four-way stop. It should pass all four of these tests. And four-way test is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? So yes, typically you wouldn't say things that that wouldn't be true or fair or build goodwill, friendships, and be beneficial. And you certainly wouldn't act on them. Thinking these things is much more difficult. And speaking when you think you're on mute can also be difficult. But that is today's four-way test, and certainly a work in progress.
Thank you, Mike. I think we're all, we've all gone through it before. Don't beat yourself up over it.
You know, Mike, I don't know a Rotarian that doesn't remind me of the circus act where they're spinning all those plates and they've got to run back and forth and spin the plates. Every Rotarian I know has got so many projects and so much involvement in their world, their business, their family, and the community. When somebody gets overloaded, we think it's funny, but we all completely understand because everyone in here is a person of action, and we're all running around and we're trying to keep those plates spinning. And every once in a while, you all know I drop a plate. So good job, Mike.
Absolutely. That's so true. Thank you so much for sharing that, Raymond. So one thing I meant to mention during the Action 360 is I want to say now that I will be fully responsible for us to do an Instagram page for Rotary, because I had a lot of feedback asking me, can you send it to me on Instagram? Can you send me the list on Instagram? And I had to, like, upload, take a picture of it, then send it over. And it was so time consuming that I thought, okay, I know I'm busy right now, but I will set that up for us and I will manage it next year or after my presidency. I will take care of that, because I do feel that there's a lot of people that that's the social media that they use, and it would be just easier to reach more people if we use that. So I'm committing now, and it's on video.
And we're going to need somebody to take over the Twitter and the Facebook page also very shortly. We need a public image chair, someone who's social media savvy, who wants to spend some time. I see and you see the new people, their faces go, not me.
So I'll say this: one of the people that mentioned that to me was my cousin that joined us yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I asked her if she would be, if she wanted to join us. And she said, well, I'm kind of busy, and I said, okay, that's fine. I said, well, why don't you help me do this? And that's how I'll hook her. She'll join eventually, but.
Well, and just, we've got a few minutes, but both Lauren and Carissa contacted us through the Facebook page. And that's how crucial the social media can be. I think we've been pushing it. We've got 12,000 followers on Twitter and 1,000 followers on Facebook, but opening up Instagram is a wonderful idea, Dave, and I really encourage you to do that.
Yes, I know more people.
I'm sure we need to learn more, but Lauren and I would be happy to help with the Instagram.
Yes.
Hey, we could definitely use that. They're going to be great Rotarians, because a Rotarian can't say no.
Yeah, we would just need to meet about like branding guidelines and all that good stuff, but.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. We would really appreciate that. Any help is well received, but thank you. All righty. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We had a great, speaker. I'm so glad we have two new Rotarians that joined our club. And thank you. In Nigeria, are you still there listening? Thank you, everybody, for joining us. You could be anywhere, and you're here with us, enjoying the afternoon with us. So thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And if you have any questions, you want to be invited back, please just reach out to us. Have a great evening, or afternoon and evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.